What's up? It's Dubai, one and only AI Legends, and yeah guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of jirens. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the previous part of this series and hopefully you guys will like this one as well. And yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to this channel and if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so, it will help me a lot. And yeah guys, I've also put the link of my Instagram within the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. And if you guys have not seen the previous part of this series, please check them out within, you can say, my channel. Hopefully you guys will like them. So without any further ado, let's start the video. But for the next part, the like goal is gonna be, let's see, 300 likes and 200 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. So without any further ado, let's start the video. Last time we left off as we saw the repercussions of Naruto fighting off against Iwa Shinobi along with Itachi as Konoha Shinobi as well as the council were as utter shock as they finally summoned a meeting and you can say asked Minato about Naruto as they told him that how they have figured out that how Minato has been training Naruto on secret so that he could become Hokage and become a strong shinobi and training him in his secret, you can say, speed training as well. And it seemed that the kid is a prodigy, being able to learn so many things within, you can say, in such a short time and being able to develop his own techniques. And according to the information they have gathered, it seemed that even the Jinchuriki was defeated by Naruto for some reason, even though they thought that it must be because of the help of, you can say, Itachi as well, seeing that how he has the Sharingan as well as the rumors were going around Konoha that Itachi Uchiha has been training Naruto, the son of the Hokage, lately. As while on the other hand, Naruto was promoted as a Chunin the next day, seeing that there is no way they can actually put him within the Chunin exam because that will ruin everything. As they know that the other nations already know this at this point. The son of the Hokage is already within the bingo book at the age of 8, and on top of that, A rank shinobi. And they will not accept him participating within the Chunin exam, and Konoha would be framed for, you can say, showing favoritism and adding Jonins within the, you can say, exam. But Naruto still needed the experience regardless of his, you can say, powers. So they decided to promote him as a Chunin. While on the other hand, you can say, in Iowa, the council meeting was going on as they were happy seeing that how the plan would go easily and how all the shinobi they have sent are elite of the elite as well as one of their Jinchuriki. No matter how strong Itachi Uchiha may actually be or how much talented the son of the Hokage may actually be, they would not be able to compete with so many shinobis of higher scales. But they were surprised to see that how the Chunin informed that only Han has returned and how his whole body was broken down. As you can say, Onoke sent one of his shinobi who was able to gather some of the Yamanaka techniques, and they were able to get a view of the whole battle as there was dead silence in the, you can say, whole chamber because the son of the Hokage was no more, and now it was Naruto Uzumaki Namakes. And they will, you can say, always say his name because he does not need the shadow of his father to introduce him anymore. And Naruto Namikaze became an enemy of, you can say, Iwa right then and there. They wanted to put him as an S-rank shinobi, but knowing that they would be humiliated in front of the other nations and they will lose clients, so they decided to put him as an A-rank threat and things like that. Decided to hide the defeat of their Jinchuriki. While on the other hand, you can say Naruto was promoted as a Chunin, so he was going through the village in which, you can say, he saw that many of the shinobis as well as the civilians were looking towards him with awe and things like that. As Naruto ignored it for the most time. To be honest, he does not care for such things as he arrived home to see that how Menma and Naruto were practicing with water balloons. As Naruto noticed that who was the fool who gave them that to try such a thing. They do not have chakra control for that. Whoever this guy actually was must be quite desperate to give the kids some kind of power or something like that. Though Naruto approve of giving them a bit more power so that they can at least become a bit stronger than their current level, though he will not improve of that, as he decided to teach them personally, seeing that they do not have the chakra control and they were doing it mostly wrong. So Naruto told them to use both of their hands to, you can say, perform the first step, the rotation, as for the second word, the, you can say, the power, which was also done, but Naruto told them do not try the third level, that was rotation and control within a single step, and use it two shadow clones at least to try the technique. As they nodded at that while disappointed within themselves, and you can say their inferiority conflicts increasing even further. So yeah guys, that was the last part where we left off, as Naruto has just went off to have a bit of dinner while Minato was simply looking towards his other two children who were still, you can say, grabbing the balloon and making two shadow clones and trying to, you can say, get the two steps together by using the help of the shadow clones. As Minato was impressed, his kids definitely has potential, but the way Naruto has taught them, it was really great. He, you can say, divided the steps even further, and without using one hand sign, why not use two hand, you can say, to complete the steps, and using two shadow clones to complete the technique. But Minato noticed that they still lacked the chakra control for that, as the Rasengan was mostly hollow and it was not working even with the help of two shadow clones. But hopefully in the future they will be able to handle it. But Minato simply shook his head, as he was not the one who taught them the Rasengan, and he strictly said not to teach them techniques, not definitely not the Rasengan. They could have actually, you can say, get a lot of injury on their hand performing the technique in the wrong way, and they would have gotten it. As he, you can say, started to look around, he quickly sensed the chakra signature of his sensei, who was still watching it and fuming from inside the point of view of Jiraiya, as Jiraiya watched in utter shock as Naruto was, you can say, making the Rasengan as it started to expand even further. In front of his eyes, the Odama Rasengan was in the hands of an 8-year-old kid like it was nothing. As he looked towards Manma Naruto, who was simply looking towards their older brother in awe and fascination, but there was something else in their eyes which he was not able to identify. But he simply shook his head. This was simply getting out of hands. It is not supposed to be. It is simply impossible. How can he believe that? Manma and Naruto are the child of destiny. There are no doubt about it. According to the old toad, of course. After all, they are the one who possess this ancient power. Regardless how talented Naruto actually is, he does not have any sort of, you can say, great energy inside of him. Only Manma and Naruto possess the power of the Biju. So therefore, that's the child of destiny. It is as simple as it gets. Well, in the mind of Jiraiya, of course. So he was, you can say, a bit angry, but he saw the progress the kids made and how they were making a shallow Rasengan already. This proves it. Both of them has a lot of talent, but he simply cannot ignore it. The Rasengans of both of them were shallow with the help of two shadow clones as well as themselves. Also trying to, you can say, improve it as well, but it was still shallow as he gritted his teeth. But before he could say anything, a flash appeared behind him as Jiraiya looked behind. Minato, what are you doing here, huh? Trying to, you can say, feign ignorance as Minato narrowed his eyes. You already know what I'm doing here, sensei. You are the one who told them to perform the Rasengan. How irresponsible you can actually be. As Jiraiya looked towards him, irresponsible. What are you talking about, Minato? I have already told you, men and Naruto are needed to be strong so that when the time comes, they can protect the world. But you are not giving them the proper training. So I decided to start them on the training of the Rasengan. As Minato glared towards him, what do you mean by the Rasengan? You already know how dangerous that technique actually is. They could have actually hurt themselves by using the water balloons as well as the other technique. As Jiraiya said, well, they are talented, Minato. You should have to put a bit of faith in them. Look, they have already made, you can say, so much progress that shows the potential. As Minato narrowed his eyes, as he said, they will not, you can say, try to experiment with Rasengan anymore. Look at them. They're using two shadow clones and they're still, you can say, struggling to handle a hollow Rasengan, which is not even of a proper shape to begin with. As Jiraiya gritted his teeth at that, as they need more chakra control, sensei. I have already told them, do not teach them the techniques. They're not ready for it. Their chakra reserves are still growing, so they need as much control as possible in the future to perform techniques. So I will say it last time, do not try to teach them such techniques. As after that he flashed away before Jiraiya could say anything, as Jiraiya was fuming from inside. As why can't Minato see it? Men and Naruto are needed to be strong as quick as possible. They are the only hope for the world, not that brat, regardless how talented he may actually be. After all, he has just heard that how the kid has been promoted as a chunin. He was fuming from inside. That kind of power was needed in the hands of saviors such as Manma and Naruto, not in the hand of Naruto, who has, you can say, not even related to the whole destiny to begin with. While on the other hand, Naruto was already waiting for, you can say, the next day. To be honest, his days are getting a bit boring with the same routine, but hopefully with these missions, he will get, you can say, a bit of fun. So yeah, as now let us have a bit of time skip for the next day as Naruto was standing in front of Minato as well as, you can say, Itachi. As Minato said, well, Naruto, usually apprenticeships ended when, you can say, a student become a chunin, but because of your unique situation, we have decided that you will still remain under the apprenticeship of Itachi for the time being, and you will, you can say, start taking missions with him. As Naruto simply shrugged at that, well, I don't mind. As Minato nodded at that, well then, it is your mission, as he gave them the scroll of the mission and started to explain the mission. As Naruto nodded at that and decided to leave along with Itachi. As Minato said, well hopefully this mission will go easily, after all, it is only a low B-Knife mission. So he will get a bit of more experience about a, you can say, bandage camp and things like that. While on the other hand, Naruto and Itachi were going, as Itachi looked towards Naruto. As he said, so are you excited about this mission, huh? As Naruto looked towards Itachi with bored eyes as he said, well, to be honest, not that much. But hopefully I will be able to, you can say, cover my whole agenda of the missions, and after that I would be able to take solo missions. As Itachi raised an eyebrow. Do I bore you, Naruto-san? As Naruto simply shook his head. Not actually, Itachi sensei. But still, I would like to go on, you can say, a bit higher rank mission with a bit of more excitement. Because to be honest, things are getting a bit boring within Konoha. As Itachi simply nodded at that and still tried to keep an eye on Naruto. Well, the mission is pretty simple. The land of tea princess has been kidnapped by, you can say, a bandit camp. There is said to be some shinobi activities in it, and that is the only reason it has been updated as a, you can say, B-Rank mission. Otherwise, it would have been, you can say, declared as a C-Rank missions, which is mainly consist of bandits. So, hopefully, there would be no, you can say, high ranking shinobis there. As Naruto simply shrugged at that. To be honest, he does not care. So, it would be just a normal mission for him to complete, and hopefully, there would be a little bit of fun as well in it. And this time, he will try to hold back a little because last time he fought, the fight ended pretty quickly. It seemed that he has to restrain his powers even more and try to have a bit of more fun as well. Yeah, that would be great. So he simply nodded at that as both of them finally, after some traveling, finally arrived to the lands, and in which they could already feel all around the area bandits were present. As Itachi narrowed his eyes at that. This was a lot, you can say, larger camp than he previously you can say, expected. It was at least 500 members of bandits. As he narrowed his eyes when he saw, you can say, some of the shinobis, in which as well at least 5 of the chunin level and 1 low, you can say, jonin level, you can say, chakra signature were detected, but mainly at the center of the camp it was arranged in a pattern. As he narrowed his eyes further, it seemed that whoever the shinobi is pretty high ranking, at least that of a jonin rank, well, he would be able to take care of that. Their main agenda is to, you can say, get the princess as quick as possible, and if the opportunity presents itself, eliminate them. As he looked towards Naruto, it seemed that there are some shinobi activities around them. As he showed Naruto with Ambu hand signs, as Naruto noticed that, and he also made some hand signs as Itachi noticed. So what's the order, huh? As Itachi quickly made hand sign, get the princess, and I will make a distraction. As Naruto simply nodded at that. As after some time, a blast of fire was rushing towards the camp as some of the, you can say, Chunin rank shinobi who were laughing and drinking finally noticed that and quickly jumped out of the way. Some of the bandits were caught in the fire range as they quickly came to the attention. As most of the shinobis were surprised, it seemed that some hidden village is after them. As they noticed that it was only one shinobi, as it was one censored, as they said, hey, it's only a single person, let's take him out. Even if he's a, you can say, a shinobi, we can take him out. As they simply nodded at that and rushed towards the direction of Itachi trying to take him out. While within the camp, as there was a person who had, you can say, sword strapped to his back, as this person was none other than one of the deadly swordman of the mist, Raiga, who had a sword which can use the power of thunder. As Raiga was sitting in his, you can say, main camp, and thinking of what to do next and things like that, how they're gonna get money for the, you can say, princess of the land of tea, as the princess was, you can say, middle 20 age woman, as she was wondering what he should actually do next and what will be his next step. His band of the, you can say, bandits has been growing day by day, so it was a good thing for him, but then he suddenly noticed the blast occurred. As he narrowed his eyes, it seemed that some shinobis has got to them, though it must be a distraction. As he narrowed his eyes and started to look around, as he looked towards the princess who was still unconscious, as he narrowed his eyes trying to sense some chakra signature, looking all around the place, but then he noticed for a split second something changed within the, you can say, whole camp. As he started to look around, but then his eyes looked towards the pole in which the princess was tied to. His eyes widened when there was nothing but, you can say, untied ropes. As he started to look around, what actually happened? He was looking around so fast, trying to sense whatever chakra signature it must be. It happened so quickly. Who was it and how did it actually happen to him? As he quickly made hand sign, trying to dispel some genjutsu on him or something like that, but far away. As Naruto was standing with one of his clones, as he said, look after her. As the clone simply nodded at that, the princess was still unconscious. As Naruto simply yawned a little bit as he said, well then, it would be fun. As he rushed towards, you can say, the bandit camp with full speed, as most of the bandits were coming towards him, as Naruto moved past them, all of them, with such speed, only, you can say, tapping them once or twice on their body, a single, you can say, touch with his finger, and they were knocking out, sending flying with such speed, and you can say, with such precision. They were, all of them were taken out so fast, while on the other hand, Raiga had just come out after seeing that it was no, you can say, genjutsu, which means that some high-ranking shinobis must be around, as he quickly bring out his sword, as he noticed that you can say, a low-level jonin who he was able to recruit to his cause was about to say something to him, but then a backhand was sent to his face, sending him flying into some rocks around. As Raiga quickly noticed that with such speed the man was sent, he was already knocked out. As he saw that a kid was standing in front of him, as Raiga narrowed his eyes. Who are you, kid? And tell me, are you the one who took the princess? As Naruto looked towards him with bored expression in his eyes. So what if I am? As Raiga gritted his teeth, but then he noticed the blonde hair, the blue eyes, his eyes, you can say, widened instantly. You are the son of that yellow flash, Naruto Namikaze, right? As Naruto simply looked towards him, but did not say anything, as Raiga said, damn it, as he thought that in his mind, what this kid is doing here. No matter how strong he may actually be, I have one of the 7 swords of the mist as well as my secret help. With that, I would be able to take him out. While inside, you can say, at the back, there was a backpack on Raiga, but unknown to most of the people, there was a small person inside of him who had a dojutsu which can see the hidden abilities of other, even being able to encounter, you can say, the Sharingan as well as the Byakugan. Mainly dojutsu, the person was simply trembling in utter fear because he was only, you can say, one of the few people in the whole world who could actually sense the enormous sea of power inside of Naruto, always, you can say, bubbling, always trying to come out, trying to release to the world, and the control the kid has it over it. He was trembling in utter fear. Raiga, we have to get out of here. That kid is a monster. You cannot sense that power is enormous. As Raiga simply raised an eyebrow, what are you talking about? As he said, you do not understand. Raiga, we have to get out of here now. But before he could say anything, suddenly, you can say hand, before Raiga could even blink, the bag which he had on his back simply was, you can say, moved from his body. As Raiga eyes widened a moment, the kid was standing in front of him. The next moment, the kid has, you can say, put the bag on the opposite side of a tree and opened it, as he saw a small kid who was trembling in utter fear. As Raiga quickly noticed that, he bring out his sword, trying to rush towards Naruto with his sword, lightning cackling in it. As Itachi has just arrived to the area after, you can say, taking care of the tuning as well as the bandits that were around the area, he noticed that Raiga was about to attack Naruto using his sword, as he was about to flash in front of Naruto, but then suddenly, you can say, Raiga swing his sword, and true, you can say, Raiga's surprise, shock, and Itachi's surprise, a single finger was pointed to the blade, stopping it within, you can say, within mid-air, as Raiga's eyes widened at that. but it was momentarily. He quickly, you can say, shook his head and released attack after attack with his sword. If you have seen the battle between Goku and you can say future Trunks, just imagine that as Naruto was blocking all of the attacks like they were nothing. And with his single finger, as Raiga moved a bit as he said, you think that you can actually defeat, but before he could even complete his sentence, crack. As Raiga's eyes widened, even Itachi's, you can say Sharingan eye blazed to the, you can say, to the sword. Cracks started to appear on both of the swords as Raiga's eyes widened in front of his eyes. One of the, you can say, deadly swords of the mist was shattering into pieces as before he could even utter a single word, shattered as all of the, you can say, both of the blades shattered into tiny pieces as Raiga simply could not believe it, as this was his, you can say, eighth sword which was given to him because he was a legendary shinobi. This was a legendary sword. It was not possible. How is that even possible to begin with? His mind was trying to come up with some theory that how it was again jutsu, how it was just a lie and something like that, as Raiga quickly, you can say, put his hand together, release, as he was still trying his best over and over again, but it was already too late because he was in no genjutsu. As Naruto simply looked towards Raiga with pity. The man was a bit powerful, but most of the shinobis are more trick over power, so he simply shook his head and within a blink of an eye, as Raiga met with his, you can say, a face to his chin, sending him flying into the air and slamming him into the ground. The man had no skills other than his sword, which was a bit, you can say, intriguing, but not Naruto's style to begin with, as Naruto simply shook his head as Itachi also was looking towards it in utter surprise. After all, the, you can say, the legendary swords of the mist are said to be indestructible. Even the executional blade, which is said to be the weakest, has the ability to, you can say, regenerate itself, not to mention the strongest sword, you can say, handed by Kisame Hoshigaki was really something else. As Raiga, you can say Itachi noticed the unconscious and badly injured body of Raiga, a A-rank missing nin, defeated by the hands of A-rank kid. As you can say, now he looked towards Naruto. To be honest, now he was looking towards a legend in the beginning. As he simply shook his head as he looked towards the kid who was still trembling, trying to went towards Raiga, and Naruto, as Itachi looked towards him with a questioning gaze, as Naruto simply shrugged and explained the situation. As Itachi sighed, this was, you can say, not to be expected, but he simply shook his head. At the moment, there is little he could actually do about it other than to go back in Konoha. While the kid has approached Raiga, who was barely conscious, he was trying to shake him, trying to say that how they can still live, they can still, you can say, get away with all of whatever they have done. As Raiga simply gave the kid a small shook of his head as he said, "Don't worry about it, just survive." As he said that to him, as the kid was still, you can say, crying over, you can say, now unconscious body of Raiga, as Itachi and Naruto, both of them noticed that, as even though both of them have a bit of pity within their heart for the kid, but they knew that Raiga was a shinobi and have done, you can say, even more terrible things, so they are obliged to take him in no matter what. As they simply looked towards each other as Itachi nodded and, you can say, using his dojutsu quickly knocked, you can say, the kid out before he has, you can say, time to use his abilities. And now once again they were moving back towards Konoha. But before they can do that, far away within the a cave, a one lone Sharingan eye was spinning as he looked towards, you can say, a creature which was coming, you can say, from the ground. As he looked, as he said, so what about the kid which I told him has the ability to counter the Sharingan as well as the Byakugan? As he said, his name is Ranmaru. And at the moment he was with Raiga, but it seemed that one of the Konoha shinobi has gotten them. As the, you can say, Sharingan person who had, you can say, mask on his face simply shook his head. "I have used for the kid, get him," said Kisame, as well as, you can say, Kakuzu after them. As the plant man said, "Are you serious about it? Both of them could be overkill, huh?" As the person simply shook his head, it does not matter. Just get them, and if, you can say, they have some bounty on their head, Kakuzu would be more than happy. As the black person chuckled as he said, "Well, it has to remember one, you can say, Itachi Uchiha, the prodigy of the Uchiha clan. He has a quite, you can say, nice bounty on his head. And the next person is Naruto Namakase, the son of the fourth Hokage." At this, the masked person quickly moved around, his Sharingan eyes spinning as he said, Naruto Namakas, huh? I have heard about that kid. As the black person nodded at that. So what about it? As he simply thought it for some time, just send him after. Send Kakuzu as well as Kisame after them, and we shall see what happens after that. I will be monitoring the battle to see if Itachi were to impress me more than enough, I will offer him a, you can say, hand to join our organization. I am pretty sure that he will agree with me. After all, I do have a plan for him. While on the other hand, Naruto Namake's, it seemed that my old dear sensei would have a, you can say, a son which is no longer in Konoha, or rather being dead. I would like to see the face of the man when he realized that his prodigy son is dead. As you can say, the Black Zetsu speak up. Are you sure about it? The kid is pretty powerful. As Obito simply chuckled as he said, no matter how strong he may actually be, Kisame and Kakuzu are both of them are more powerful than the kid could ever hope to reach in 1,000 years. As you can say, the Black Zetsu simply nodded at that. Alright then. As you quickly sent the signal while Itachi and Naruto were going back to Konoha, they've already sealed the unconscious body of the, you can say, Raiga, as well as you can say Itachi was carrying Ranmaru, as Naruto was simply moving at his casual pace as he quickly noticed some flicker around. It appeared out of nowhere as he said, Itachi sensei. I feel three chakra signatures approaching quickly. As Itachi narrowed his eyes, could you actually tell me what is the, you can say, chakra rate? As Naruto simply shook his head. S rank. Three of them. All three. As then, Itachi's eyes widened at that as he cursed under his breath. Damn it, is it, you can say, once again, Rock Village? As he cursed under his breath as he said, how, you can say, how near are they? As Naruto simply shook his head, they'll be approaching in 30 seconds. As Itachi cuts under his breath, there is no, you can say, way to move around or run away or something like that. As Naruto simply shook his head, don't worry about it, we'll take them on. As Itachi noticed a bit of cockiness in Naruto, as while on the other hand Naruto was a bit giddy. Well, last time he ended the battle too quickly. Even this, you can say, Raiga person disappointed him with his, you can say, battle strength. But these people are different, though not as powerful as him. They are actually nothing compared to his true power. But still, he cannot use his full power to begin with. Even though he can use that power, these people are still nothing to the amount of power he could actually use. This would still be a bit of fun if he were to restrain himself a little bit. As you can say, within a flash, two people appeared in front of him as Naruto noticed that how the third person was hiding. As for some reason, Naruto was, you can say, vaguely could understand his energy signature as if he was in this dimension or he was not in this dimension, in between the both dimensions. As Naruto simply shook his head, he will take care of that person when the time comes. As he simply looked towards both of them as Itachi narrowed his eyes as he cursed under his breath. As Kisame Hoshigaki as well as Kakuzu, said to be, you can say, a shinobi who has even fought off against, you can say, the first Hokage and survived. As he looked towards them, so what do we get the pleasure to meet? Kisame Hoshigaki as well as Kakuzu, as Kisame simply smirked at that. So you're the Uchiha brat our leader was talking about, huh? Well, quite interesting. As he simply Itachi narrowed his eyes as Kisame speak out, well, I will give you the offer, the whole protocol and things like that. You see, we are a member of an organization known as Akatsuki, and we are here to give you our offer to join our organization. Itachi Uchiha, you may not be S rank now, but in the future you might be able to reach that, and with us you would be able to, you can say, reach your full potential. So what do you say, huh? As Itachi narrowed his eyes as he said, well, you already know my answer, don't you? As Kisame smirked at that, I was hoping that you would say that. As he swung his sword towards the head of Itachi, as Itachi quickly activated his Sharingan, trying to put, you can say, Kisame within a genjutsu, but Kisame quickly broke it off as Kakuzu simply chuckled as he said, so you're the kid, the son of the, you can say, fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. You have quite the bounty in Rock Village, huh? Well then, it would be my pleasure to collect your bounty. Even though I could have waited a little bit, but then again, there are rumors saying that you're already A rank shinobi, and in the future you might be a little bit of threat to me. So I'll be eliminating you right here and right now. Well then, I'll be collecting your bounty before you become too much of a threat to me. As he, you can say, rushed towards Naruto, trying to engage in a taijutsu battle. And Naruto simply shook his head. This person energy is all disturbed in his body. As a matter of fact, there are 5 concentrations of energy inside of his body. As Naruto simply looked towards the person, he was coming towards him. As Naruto noticed a bit of energy being, you can say, channeled from that, you can say, point. It was mainly consist of, you can say, leaning towards earth type energy, as Naruto was able to recognize this kind of energy because of his, you can say, ability, and then ability to sense any and all kind of energies in a person, regardless if he has a person has energy similar to his ki or chakra. As Naruto simply looked towards him and he vanished, as you can say Kakuzu was about to swing his, you can say, fist coming towards Naruto, but then he noticed a arm was passing through his chest as his eyes widened, as he could feel chakra draining or vanishing from that mask. The kid has punched through his mask that was, you can say, implanted into his body, as his, you can say, chakra simply vanished, as he no longer has a, you can say, a type heart within his body. As he quickly moved back, as he glared towards Naruto with as much hatred as he could actually gather, as he quickly removed his shirt, as even, you can say, Obito Uchiha, who was watching the battle with intrigue. Well, mostly the battle of, you can say, Itachi, which was mainly consist of ninjutsu as well as the genjutsu by the hands of Itachi, while Kisame was trying to counter the techniques. But it seemed that the Uchiha prodigy is really something else. But then he noticed, you can say, Kakuzu, who removed his shirt as Itachi, as Obito's eyes narrowed at that. The mask of the, you can say, if one mask of heart is vanished from his body or destroyed, as Kakuzu was glaring towards him. Do you have any idea what have you done, you brat? As Naruto looked towards him, that one energy signature from your body has been destroyed, huh? Well, he looked around. There are 4 masks, which means that there are 4 different energy signatures within your body. Your body seems to be dead. Your main energy is coming from all of these 5 masks, but all of these energies are different from each other. Just what are you? As Kakuzu narrowed his eyes dangerously, never in his career as a shinobi, people have been trying to figure out, you can say, how to kill him or something like that, but the kid has so easily deduced that how his energy was actually coming from the hearts which he has stolen from other people who has chakra signature different from each other as well. So therefore, even though these are planted into his body, the chakra in them is different from his original, you can say, chakra. As he glared towards Naruto, as Naruto said, as a small smirk came to Naruto's face, he was actually enjoying this. I wonder, as Naruto vanished from the, you can say, the side of both Obito as well as, you can say, Kakuzu, as Kakuzu's eyes widened, a hand slammed into his chest and suddenly something was ripped outside of it, as Kakuzu noted it was, you can say, a water mask. As he, you can say, cursed under his breath, the kid moved so fast he was unable to follow it, while on the other hand, Obito has his eyes narrowed dangerously. He was using his Mangekyo Sharingan, still, you can say, having himself enter between the 2 dimensions, his Kamui dimension and this dimension, and yet the kid was, you can say, moving at such a speed that his Mangekyo barely got a glimpse of, you can say, the kid. It seemed that Minato sensei has been training the kid really great to move, to being able to move at such a speed. Or is it some kind of heroician or some other technique? As he narrowed his eyes, trying to use his Magyu ability to see what kind of technique this kid is actually using it. If he got his hand on the technique, maybe he could copy it with his Sharingan, and then he would have an encounter for the abilities of his sensei. While on the other hand, Naruto had the mask of the water style within his hand, as Naruto noticed black vines trying to wrap around his body or trying to attack him, but Naruto crushed his hand, destroying the mask. As Kakuzu glared towards him, suddenly, you can say, all 3 masks came out of his body. I have enough of this. As, you can say, fire mask started to gather fire within his mouth, while on the other hand, wind mask was already gathering energy into it. As the lightning mask was hovering over the air, all of these 3 attacks rushed towards Naruto, the wind pounding up the fire engulfing the lightning, as a stream of, you can say, energy was rushing towards Naruto. As Naruto simply looked towards it with bored expression, as Kakuzu had a smirk on his face. Let's see what the kid would do now. This has the speed that of a lightning. So there's no way the kid could actually dodge or something like that. But to his surprise and utter shock of Obito, as the kid simply put a single hand towards the incoming technique, as Kakuzu simply smirked, the kid is arrogant. It seemed that it would be easy getting his bounty now. No matter how fast he actually was, he caught him off guard there. But now he will have his bounty no matter what. As there was a, you can say, clash of energy releasing, and you can say hitting Naruto dead on as Kakuzu finally smirked at that dust. As you can say covered the area, but there was no mistake. The kid had a, you can say, direct hit of the attack, while on the other hand Obito was also smirking under his breath. It seemed that Sensei's son was really arrogant, but now he is dead, and it would be a present to his, you can say, former sensei. He was smirking from inside. This will weaken Minato even further, so when the time comes, he will be able to get the nine tail, no problem whatsoever. As he was smirking, while on the other hand Itachi also was looking, as you can say Kisame speak up. It seems that your young apprentice is dead, huh? As he was smirking, as Itachi looked towards him blankly. To be honest, all the things he has seen the kid doing, now there will be nothing that will surprise him. As he looked towards Kisame, do not underestimate Naruto-kun. He's pretty talented if you ask me. As Kisame simply smirked, oh really? I've seen that attack hitting dead on, even I would have trouble. You can say with such attack, it is easily S-rank technique with all three elements in it. As you can say Itachi gave him a small smirk as he said, we'll see. As suddenly the dust started to clear as Kakuzu was laughing that how it, you can say how easy it actually was. Even you can say the smirk, as the smirk on the face of you can say Kakuzu as well as Obito's eyes widened at the same time when the dust cleared as a small crater was formed there, while in the center of it Naruto was still standing armed. You can say his hand was still pointing towards Kakuzu as he had a bored expression on his face, as Kakuzu could not believe it. That was just one of his best, you can say, combination technique. All of three offensive, you can say, elements combined together in such a manner to increase each other's power to the level to destroy anything or anyone. This was not possible. The kid did not even have a scratch on his body. Hell, not even his, you can say, clothes had scratch on them. As Naruto was simply looking towards him, and for a moment he saw something within the eyes of the kid. It was like disappointment. As Naruto looked towards him, as he looked towards his hand, as he looked back towards Kakuzu. Is that all? As you can say there was dead silence, as you can say even Kisame and Itachi stopped their battle, as Kakuzu could not believe his eyes. I said, is that all you got, huh? I must say, it was pathetic. As you can say Kakuzu looked towards Naruto, but then his eyes turned into glare. But to his surprise, the kid glared back towards him. To be honest, I'm getting tired of these stupid battles. They are nothing more than disappointments. And you will pay for disappointing me. But before anyone could say anything, suddenly a face was slammed into the face of Kakuzu, as Kakuzu's face was planted into the ground, making a large crater into it. For a moment, Obito was, you can say, took a step back as a small, you can say, feeling started to creep into his heart. That was feeling, you can say, that was fear. The way the kid was releasing his energy now. Suddenly, the whole area trembled for a moment as red energy started to surround the body of Kakuzu, of Naruto, as Kakuzu tried to call his heart back, trying to regenerate his body, but not to grab two, you can say, masks and crush them immediately. As you can say, only one heart was able to reach back to Kakuzu. That was mainly because he tried to summon it from the, you can say, down the ground. As Naruto crushed the, you can say, the mask of the wind and fire element. Only the lightning element went to Kakuzu as Kakuzu quickly engulfed his body within lightning, trying to engage Naruto within taijutsu. But to his utter surprise, Naruto backhanded his hand, which were coming towards him in the form of punches, as Kakuzu noticed that both of his arms were broken at this point, as Naruto pointed a single finger towards Kakuzu and flipped him on his, you can say, forehead, sending him flying into the trees. As Kisame smirked as he said, well, it seemed that Samihada is getting a bit hungry as he rushed towards Naruto, thinking that it's chakra, so Samihada could actually absorb it, as well as Samihada thinking that how it is a form of energy, so it can actually absorb it. As Naruto simply looked towards him, as he released a bit of ki energy, ki blast towards Kisame, who was coming towards him, as Kisame pointed his Samihada, as Samihada quickly ate it away, as Kisame was smirking. Well kid, you may be powerful, but releasing your chakra in such a manner, perhaps you do not know. My sword can absorb but before he could complete sentence, suddenly his, you can say, Samehada started to get, you can say, releasing from his hand and started to move around all around the place as if it was in pain and utter agony. As Naruto looked towards the sword was trying to, you can say, absorb his energy, but it was too much and too dense of energy compared to, you can say, chakra. His energy is like rocks. So when Samehada try to eat it, try to digest it, compared to chakra, which is, even though the denser form of it is nothing more than a liquid. So as he looked towards, you can say, Samehada, which was, you can say, trembling in, you can say, whole, suddenly, stream started to come from the body of Samehada as a blast occurred in front of the eyes of Kisame, as Kisame was sent flying a little bit as he saw the roasted and almost, you can say, destroyed form of Samehada as he quickly rushed towards it, trying to grab it as he saw the sentient sword was almost dying as he glared towards Naruto as much hate as possible as Naruto simply shook his head. You guys are annoying. As he pointed a hand towards them, suddenly energy started to gather within his hands as Kisame was cursing under his breath. What was this kid? He has already defeated, you can say, Kakuzu, as he quickly looked back to see Kakuzu was just behind him in a straight line as energy started to gather within the hand of Naruto as Naruto released it in the form of a beam. As Kisame cursed under his breath, he was about to go through hand sign, but then suddenly he felt himself being sucked into a vortex as a hand was placed to his, you can say, shoulder. And for the next moment, he also saw that Kakuzu was also in the arm of this person as they quickly teleported away in the Kami dimension. As Naruto looked around, as he saw that, as he looked towards Itachi, someone pulled them away from this dimension. I can feel it. As Itachi raised an eyebrow at that. Are you sure about it? As Naruto simply nodded at that. That third person, he was entered between two dimensions. I could feel it. As well as he pointed, looked towards directly into the eyes of you can say, Itachi's Sharingan. He had a signature similar to that of the Sharingan, but more, you can say, denser as well as more negative than your Sharingan chakra signature. As Itachi quickly understood what Naruto was trying to say, that person, whoever it was, must have an advanced form of the Sharingan that explain between two dimensions. Enter between two dimensions, or either one side in one dimension or other side in other dimension. Yeah, that must be it. As he narrowed his eyes at that, one of the Uchihas, huh? Well, it seemed that he had to report it to Lord Hokage, but he do not know anyone beside his father, and Naruto said it. And he noticed that person when he grabbed both Kisame and Kakuzu. His physique was different from his father and his chakra signature did not match to his father, which means that somehow someone else also had the Mangekyo within his clan. It seemed that he needs to have, you can say, a talk with his father about this, as well as the Hokage if need be. He looked towards Naruto. Alright Naruto, maybe we should leave back to Konoha. It seemed that this mission is also updated as an S rank. As Naruto simply shrugged at that. As you can say, Itachi said, alright, let's leave. As both of them nodded and went back. As you can say, good thing Naruto sent a small shadow clone to, you can say, look after the small kid who was already unconscious. And now let us back to Konoha. Minato along with third Hokage were doing paperwork. As you can say, Tsunade was giving her report about the hospital and the program which she wanted to install about the whole thing. That how each team has a one medic need, while on the other hand Jiraiya was still there. As since you can say Kushina had nothing better to do, so she was reporting that how, you can say, the team management of the team 7 is gonna be, and how Menma and Naruto should be in her squad when the time comes and things like that. As then the door opened as both Itachi and Naruto stepped in. As Jiraiya noticed Naruto as his, you can say, demeanor immediately changed as he narrowed his eyes towards the kid but did not say anything. As third Hokage noticed that. As Itachi looked around as he saw all the prominent figures currently within Konoha were there. As Itachi speak up, well, Lord Hokage, we are back from our mission and we would like to say that our mission was a complete success. As Minato smiled at that, so tell me, give me the report, Itachi. As Itachi looked towards, you could say all the members, but nodded nonetheless, as he said, well, Lord Hokage, when we arrived there, we saw that the camp of bandits was greater than we previously thought. It consisted of at least 500 people, and there were at least 10 Chunin and 3 Jonin, and a high A-rank shinobi in it. As Minato blinked a little, as he looked towards Naruto, trying to see if there were any injuries or anything like that, as well as even Kushina was a bit worried, as Tsunade was almost ready to examine the kid to see if there were any injuries or anything like that, as he simply shook his head. No, the whole battle went easily. I was able to distract, you can say, more other people towards me, and then Naruto swooped in and got the princess, and after that, when I arrived there, I saw a battle going on. As he looked towards Naruto, it seemed that Raiga, one of the swordmen of the mist, was there. He was a missing nin, and he had the, you could say, sword of the seven sword of the mist. As Minato eyes widened as he said, are you sure about it? As he simply nodded at that. And when I arrived there, I saw that he was battling with Naruto-kun. Though the battle was, you can say, one-sided, as he gave Naruto a small smile, as Naruto did not return it, though he was simply looking towards his father, while in the inside of Naruto's mind, he was thinking about something else. As he looked towards, you can say, the battle was single-sided. I saw that he was attacking Naruto over and over again, while our Naruto-kun was stopping with a single finger of all of his attack. And when I arrived there, I saw the sight which I never thought was possible. As Minato leaned forward, and what was that, huh? As he said, well, one of the seven swords of the mist shattering into pieces, as there was dead silence in the whole room. As third Hokage speak up, Itachi-kun, are you sure about it? As Itachi simply nodded at that as he bring out a scroll and put it on the table of Minato, as Minato put some chakra into it, opening it as he saw the destroyed remains of the, you can say, destroyed sword. As they quickly started to examine it, as he quickly noticed the insignia of the mist on it. This was a secret insignia, and therefore this sword was definitely the original thing. As he looked towards Naruto for a moment, but he also noticed that Naruto was bored for some reason. As he looked towards Itachi as he said, well, this is the original thing, Itachi. So report even further as Itachi explained the battle, how he was easily defeated, and after that the kid who had a, you can say, strange ability. As you can say, Minato simply nodded at that, while thinking that how he will take care of that kid some other time, while on the other hand Jiraiya was fuming from inside, but before anyone could say anything, as Jiraiya speak up, that was seriously irresponsible of you, kid. You could have gotten the sword, and how Konoha would have, you can say, a sword of the seven mist within our hands. And just because of your recklessness, see, you have destroyed the sword. It could be, you can say, almost like a treasure. As Naruto looked towards Jiraiya, to be honest, he never liked the man. He was too irresponsible. As he looked towards him up and down, as he said, who asked you? And there was dead silence in the whole room. As you can say, even Itachi was taken aback from it. He noticed that Naruto was irritated for some reason, and after that battle, before the battle started, he saw, you can say, a bit of excitement in the eyes of the kid. But after the battle and the words he has said, how he was a, you can say, the battle was a disappointment. And when he tried to kill both Kisame as well as Kakuzu, and now he was saying this thing to, you can say, one of the Sanin, as Jiraiya was taken aback from it, regardless how long he has actually lived. No matter, you can say, none of the Konoha shinobi has ever said such a thing to him. But before he could say anything else, Minato speak up, that is enough. As he looked towards his sensei, giving him a look, and then he looked towards Naruto, as he said, well, Naruto, I was about to ask you the same thing. You should have been more careful. As Naruto simply shrugged, the sword was so weak, I was not even using my full power. Only a single finger, and how it got, you can say, shattered. So I don't think that it was that useful of a thing. As Minato wanted to say something, wanted to argue, but what can he say? The kid said that how it got, you can say, shattered when he was only using one finger, obviously empowered by his chakra to, you can say, block the attacks, and now it actually blocked it, and not only that, shattered it. And he wanted to argue, but what could he actually say about it? this would make him look weak if you consider such a pathetic weapon to be, you can say, strong or something like that. As he simply shook his head, well, at least we have its remain. We can solve something about it. As Tadukage nodded at that, while Jiraiya was still like a, you can say, fish out of water, gaping towards Naruto. As Itachi speaks up, not only that, Lord Hokage, after we were coming back, we were ambushed by Kisame, Hoshikage, as well as Kakuzu of the bounty hunter, as there was silence in the whole room as Minato said, Itachi, are you sure about it? As Itachi simply nodded at that, as he started to explain the battle, that how they attacked them and how the battle goes, how he fought off against, as all of them silently listened, as after the explanation, Kushina was looking towards Naruto at awe in her, you can say, eyes. And on top of that, even Minato was looking towards Naruto quite, you can say, proudly, strangely, as well as even, you can say, Harukage was looking towards the kid. As Jiraiya could not believe his ears, even he would have trouble with both of them, you can say, at the same time. And how Naruto-kun was able to figure out that Kisame had 5 hearts, or more likely 4, 5, you can say, masks within his body which he used to keep himself alive to make a immortality jutsu, all of them of different affinities of different person. As Minato thought some time he would have a talk with, you can say, the leader of Taki to find out who that guy actually was. As Itachi gave them the report that how this was an organization claimed to set themselves that of Akatsuki and they wanted him to join. As Minato simply nodded at that as he looked towards Naruto. Well, Naruto, mind telling us the technique which Itachi-san had just noticed you using against it? As Naruto looked towards his father, well, I made it myself. As Minato was about to ask him about some name or something like that, as there was silence in the whole room. As Naruto looked towards them, what? As Minato said, I was asking you about some name or something like that. As Naruto simply shrugged, I did not thought of that at the moment. I was just experimenting it, and hopefully I will have a name for it in the future. But at the moment, it is just a beam of my chakra which is more explosive. As Minato thought it some time, as seeing that Naruto's chakra reserves are actually greater than his own, and if he were to release, you can say it is more likely that of the Rasengan. Instead of a orb, it would be like a beam of destruction. Must be empowered by fire chakra or lightning chakra maybe. As he thought it some time, as he said, alright, I will discuss this about at later date, but it seems that your mission once again has been updated as a S rank mission because of the difficulty level of, you can say, having 2 S rank missing names after you. So I'll be updating it as an S rank mission and you would be getting the reward for that. As they simply nodded at that. As Naruto simply speak up as he said, excuse me, Itachi sensei, I have some things to take care of. As Itachi nodded, as Naruto vanished from their eyes once again. As you can say, Itachi thought it, well, that was quite fast. As after thinking that, he also, you can say, sunshine away. As while inside, all of them started to discuss, you can say, what they have just heard. While in the forest of that, Naruto was training 200 times gravity, not even feeling about it. But he was, you can say, frustrated. As Naruto had, you can say, anger in his eyes. He was releasing attacks after attacks. And thanks to the, you can say, ceiling area which he has made up around this area, people will not be able to feel his energy or his, you can say, releasing power and anger. Damn it, those S-rank shinobis were actually stronger than, you can say, other weaklings, but they were a disappointment, a massive disappointment. He looked around, he started to sense energy all around the village, and he would, you can say, increase his sensory ability all around the, you can say, even more covering the whole Fire Nation and even pushing it to the, you can say, the remaining nations. None of it, as he slammed his face to the ground, shattering it apart. None of them have the power to challenge him. None of them had the power to actually, you can say, even give him a bit of entertainment. This chakra was actually weak, as even though he had command over chakra and he would admit that it is pretty useful in some situation, but his energy, his power, his ki was so much stronger that even these so-called powerful shinobis are not a match for him. As he was simply releasing his anger at that, he was not getting the excitement from these things, he was not getting the rush of a battle, and this was making him bored, a lot bored. So for the, you can say, he was just releasing his energy while far away some Utsutskis were, you can say, passing by the area after devouring one of the fruits of the planet, but then they suddenly noticed it was like a flicker, a energy signature which was quite different from their own. They have never sensed a power like this, but it was for a single moment in their passing dimension. They were unable to pin, you can say, pinpoint it, but they felt it. It was so much different, so much powerful, so much potent than chakra, and for a moment they were scared of it. But it simply vanished from the area as they simply look around. We must inform it to our king. As they simply nodded towards each other and decided to report it to the king of the Ususkis. So yeah guys, here I will have this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, I would like to ask you guys about suggestions because I'm thinking of putting Naruto within Ambu so that at least he could do more missions about it and having a bit of, you can say, time skip in the next part. So if you guys have some, you can say, interesting ideas, tell me in the comment section and I will think about it. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, peace, subscribe, and if you can say for the next part the like goal is gonna be 350 likes and 200 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. So please guys do so, it would be a lot helpful to me. And yeah guys, subscribe and subscribe. Peace.